Hello and welcome back to another episode of My Celery Wants Me to Join the Communist Party. I'm your host, Alex Jones. You ever go to the grocery store and think, man, that yogurt just doesn't align with my personal values? No, you haven't, if you're normal. But for those of us who have thrown away our normal pills and thrown caution to the wind, the Veebs app is here for you.
The best way to fight against these rogue brands is with our wallets. That's why I use the Veebs app when I do my grocery shopping.
According to Veebs' Instagram, they believe that it's time for conservatives to build a parallel economy where they can shop for products that align with their personal values. So let's look at the products here at the bottom of this TikTok that they gave as examples of woke groceries. Obviously, we've got Bud Light, which, supported one trans person, so they gotta go. Keurig scored a perfect 100 on the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, meaning that they cover hormones and surgeries for trans people. Tropicana is owned by PepsiCo, which also scored a perfect 100 on the Corporate Equality Index, and Frito-Lay is also owned by PepsiCo. Now, what's my source on all this information? It's an LGBTQ+ website called Them, who wrote an article called POV, You Try to Go a Whole Day Without Drinking Anything Woke. Very funny article, would recommend. But what I want to point out here is the photo that they use in the article. Look familiar? This article came out in April and the TikTok came out in July, so clearly Veebs or Brie Teresi stole the photo from this progressive article, photoshopped one product over a different product, and then used it in their conservative TikTok, which I just think is a funny little discovery. I don't know. So let's take a look at how the Veebs app works.
Okay, this has a very poor rating, so we definitely are going to be putting this back. But look at all the other ice creams in the store that have great ratings.
So essentially, you scan a barcode with your phone, then it gives you a V score, or virginity score, I mean value score. It tells you whether it's a preferred product or if a product is woke. However it does that. And then it gives you a rating, whether that's like good, fair, or poor. So I've been kind of racking my brain looking at the screenshots that they provide in the App Store, because it seems like when a product has a low value score, it's red, right? Look at Goya, red, bad product, woke. Wants to take God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. You know what I'm talking about. But then there are these two screenshots, which are the exact same screenshot, except one score is red and the other score is yellow. How am I supposed to know if the great value wants to turn my son into a soy boy without proper color coordination in the Veebs app? All right, so let's take a quick look at the ice cream brands that Brie Teresi talks about here, saying that they're good alternatives to Ben & Jerry's, a company who everyone knows wants to repeal the Constitution and take away your guns.
We have Bluebell, we have Dryers, Tillamook, Blue Bunny, Halo Top, even Baskin Robbins. So let's go pick up some ice cream that supports our values.
Just from that list, I did a little bit of research. Dryers is owned by Nestle, a company whose executives have come out against anti-trans legislation in Texas and who support the National Urban League's efforts to end racial discrimination. So, sorry, woke ice cream. Gotta get rid of it. Blue Bunny and Halo Top are both owned by Wells Enterprises, which is owned by the Ferrero Group, who has pledged to support BLM and racial inclusivity. Two more ice creams, too woke to buy. And finally, the Baskin Robbins workplace also has a 100% on the Corporate Equality Index, making it one of the best places to work for LGBTQ+ equality several years in a row. And yet these companies have an 80, 69, 69, and 69 score on the Veebs app respectively. I mean, sure. Bluebell, for example, is a pretty publicly conservative brand of ice cream, if that's important to you. And if you want Listeria, no one can stop you. But parsing through every item in a grocery store to make sure that everything perfectly aligns with your personal values sounds kind of like snowflake behavior to me. I don't know. And clearly, if I can find that these Veebs-approved foods are actually woke brands to some people within about 5 minutes of research, Veebs is probably not your best bet for achieving that goal anyway? I don't know.
Next on my list are tampons. Let's see what rating Tampax has. So they have a very low rating.
Can we, leave Dylan Mulvaney alone yet? What is this obsession with a single online trans creator that has conservatives in such a chokehold? What about Dylan Mulvaney gets people so offended? It is so weird. Stop.
But it shows that Playtex has a much better rating. Playtex does make an organic cotton tampon, which is a lot better. See how simple value-based shopping is?
Oh, thank God. Playtex. Finally. A company that hasn't gone woke. Except for the fact, of course, that they are owned by Hanes, which has done body positivity campaigns, publicly supported Black Lives Matter, and has partnered with organizations to support LGBTQ+ youth living with homelessness. So, no more tampons for Brie, I guess. Good luck.
I'm so glad someone came up with this app. It makes value-based shopping so simple. Download Veebs today.
Okay, look. We've had some fun here today, and we're going to continue to have more fun. Let's keep going. Because these are the people who talk about how the far left are so hypersensitive, how they're so easily offended, and how what they're doing is just virtue signaling. And yet here is this app so clearly targeted towards far-right conservatives to help them safely navigate the aisles of a grocery store to avoid accidentally buying a woke product by literally attributing a numerical value to see if it aligns with their personal values. Grow up, dude! Like, this is embarrassing. And not to mention, the app itself is a fucking mess because they clearly don't know how to develop an app and they don't understand their target audience at all. Half the ratings in the App Store are 1 star, and there are a bunch of reviews saying that their 2-factor authentication doesn't work and that their registration isn't accepting their phone numbers. So naturally, I downloaded the app. So once you download this app from the App Store and pick one of your 2 God-given genders, it'll ask you what your values are. And clearly they put like progressive here so that they don't get like accused of being targeted as being far-right conservative, but clearly by everything that they talk about on their social media channels and everything, like clearly that's the audience here. So I plugged in the values that would assure that I got the least woke groceries I could find, a very normal desire. I selected my favorite stores. I selected, why won't it let me? I selected my favorite stores, and if you want to use any of the features on this app outside of it being a glorified shopping list, you do have to pay a monthly subscription fee. Because of course you do. So obviously, I'm not gonna not do that because I need to make content for the internet. But now, it was time to test it out. And what I found? Horrifying. My goldfish. Woke. Cereal. Woke. Beef jerky. Whoa, well, they actually didn't have that one in their database yet, so. Food after food, item after item. My eggs were woke. I had eaten those eggs with my mouth. Did I have a woke mouth now? A woke stomach? Is this the LGBTQ CIA agenda? To indoctrinate us into having gay thoughts through carefully distributed transgender chemicals in my good Christian rice-a-roni? Probably. I don't know. Alternatively, and this isn't very likely, but this may just be a dumb and polarizing product meant to just, like, make money. And if you don't like that, then you hate capitalism, and by extension, America. So chew on that. As long as it has, like, a high enough value score on the Veebs app, you know? So what can we take away from this? Right? Like, what can we learn? Well, there's a lot of talk in conservative spaces about how the far left lives in its own bubble, about how we need safe spaces, about how we don't understand how life is in the real world. But stuff like the Veebs app show us that these bubbles don't only exist in far left spaces. Being chronically online is not a progressive exclusive trait. If you need an app like Veebs in order to ensure that your fridge is chock full of conservative foods, then you're just going to be wasting a lot of time and a lot of money lacking the understanding that you can eat and drink whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. And doesn't that just warm your heart? Anyway, this was stupid. So I hope you liked this video. If you want to hear me talk about something similar, another silly conservative targeted app called The Right Stuff, you can check that video out in a second right after this one. I will put a link to it in the end screen. But until next time, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you have not done so already. Be sure to hit that bell so you're notified every single time I upload a new video. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.